start the meeting.
Okay, so 3 Aces Investor Relations Cell has organized this first investor meet for the shareholders of Mac Hotels Limited today, and we have the MD of the company, Edgar Cotta, and the director, Edwin Cotta, who will be updating us the latest updates around the company. The agenda for today will be, first we will start with a brief introduction of the company, followed by the introduction of the management, and then the 3 Aces IRC group as a whole as to what is the purpose and role, and then we will move on to give it to Edgar and Edwin for talking about the future outlook of the company, Mac Hotels, and a question and answer session for the investors who are interested in asking any specific questions to Edgar and Edwin Cotta. So moving to the first agenda point about Mac Hotels. Mac Hotels is engaged in the business of owning, operating and managing hotels, restaurants and resorts in Goa for the last 25 years. They currently manage around 4 properties in Miramar and Kalangut, and they are well-established brand names in the name of Resort Village Royal, Hotel Miramar, Hotel Park Avenue and Sand Castles, and they also run a franchise store called the Chocolate Room. So based on the experienced team and the vision of Edgar and Edwin Cotta, from what they were managing 50 rooms in between 2018 and 2019, they have increased the rooms under their management to 238 rooms, which is phenomenal. And at the same time, they created history in the state of Goa for being the first company to get listed in the SME platform in September 2018. Now, a few words about Edgar and Edwin Cotta. Both of them are, of course, twin brothers. We've seen them in many of the meetings. They joined the family business and in 1993, and ever since they have been having hands-on experience in managing the hospitality business and growing this business from newer heights to bigger heights. And both of them have the experience of about more than 25 plus experience in managing the hotels group. So I was to talk about Gretex, but now since we don't have any representative, Gretex has been just the merchant bankers for this issue, and they helped in advisory services and listing of the company in the stock market BSE SME platform. Now to talk about 3 Aces Investor Cell, I just wanted to give a background as to what is this all about. Request all of you to put your phones on mute so that we'll be able to, everyone will be able to hear this well. Yeah. So we've seen that over the past few years, I mean, long period of years, I would say, equities has been the best asset class, providing the maximum returns over a long period of time. And a classic example would be the Eicher Motors. An investment of 10,000 in 1984 is valued at a whopping 900 crores today. So an investor who has led or kept this for shares till date has earned astronomical returns. Now, these returns are generated if the investor is in a position to track the developments of the company taking place. However, there are several investors who see that their company, the price of the company has doubled or tripled, and in the fear of the returns getting evaporated, they were not able to go through the entire journey of this company. And therefore, what was lacking here probably was a two-way communication between management and the investor on a regular basis, which is tracking the company's performing and enabling the investor to take an informed decision. Now, in the case of big companies like Reliance, or you take HDFC, the names of the world are in Nifty. Information is already available companies or the SME companies specifically. This facility is unavailable due to first being the high cost of doing all these one-to-ones or
His voice is getting.
Managing this communication. So in order to bridge this sorry, Clifton, you said something.
No, I think your voice is cracking. So you have reached a stage where you said that large companies have the facility of communication, whereas small companies, because of the high cost and other factors, are unable to have that reach. That is where we heard you last.
Okay, so there is a gap. We see a gap. And what is this gap? A communication gap. So to bridge this communication gap, a 3 ACES investor cell has been set up with a view to create value, grow value, and protect value. So these 3 things are very, very critical for the success of a company in the long run. So the 3 ACES. So we also, the 3 ACES symbolize skill, scale, and speed. Now what this means is that companies over a period of time need to develop high skill, which will enable them to scale up, but at a high speed. SME companies should aspire to grow from an ant to an elephant, but at the speed of a cheetah, and also aspire to migrate from a local to a global company over a period of time and emerge as a valuable and admired company. So in the universe of now several companies which are listed in the stock exchange, it is possible that many companies, especially the ones in the SME sector, because of the absence of visibility among investors, could be neglected in spite of good performances, and therefore fail to get the real fair valuations for their share price, which is unfair to the shareholders, and hence it is important to ensure that these companies migrate from a neglected zone to a noticeable zone, which is one of the primary objectives of the investor cell. So investor cell, the 3 ACES investor cell, have taken it upon itself to organize regular investor meets. The cell will also attempt to pursue the managements to adapt investor-friendly policies. Now, some of the recent companies which got listed in SME exchanges and that were mentored have begun to embrace these friendly policies, which have demonstrated in their actions. For example, Evans Electric has paid a dividend of 22% in financial year 20 and 30% in financial year 21. VR Films paid 10% in financial year 20 and declared an interim dividend of 10% in financial year 21. Cosper similarly declared another dividend of 12% in financial year 20. Bodhi Tree, we just got the credits into our accounts, and that is 10% again, a dividend, interim dividend of financial 21. Bilwin is in the process of declaring an interim dividend after the meetup, the board meetup. So we've seen these very, very investor friendly practices which are followed by these companies in the SME platform under the mentorship of Clifton De Silva and the 3 ACES investor cell, and also taking the best interest of the investors. Now I would like to talk about Clifton De Silva.
I think just a minute. Alok is there. Alok, are you there?
I am there. Yeah, I'm there.
Alok has come in, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Alok, I would like to just introduce Alok here. Alok represents the Gretex Corporate Services, where he is the whole-time director and has been instrumental in assisting Mac Hotels to list in the SME IPO platform. Also, I would like to talk a few words about Alok Harlalka. First of all, Gratex is a Category 1 SEBI-registered merchant banker, providing a gamut of services for investment banking, corporate advisory services, and capital market services. And they are the go-to people for all types of funding, raising interest-free capital, corporate restructuring, and advisory services. The list is long. I just want to highlight 1 or 2 other important highlights. They were awarded one of the top performers in the BSE SME category in financial year 2018. And so far, they have already advised 20 new issues in the SME platform and advise. Yeah.
Yeah, let be interactive. Let it be more interactive.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can move forward.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So Edwin, you're going to update us with anything, or should we start this question answer session?
Yeah, no, some of the
Edwin has something to say, I think,
Okay.
about the current year.
yeah, the current year also what we have done is we have analyzed some of the loss making point of sales, and we have got will be revenue sharing concept where they will, as they grow, the revenues for the company also will grow. At the same time, we have started the chocolate room at Hotel Miramar, and the bakery unit we have shifted to Miramar because our base is in Miramar and we can have a better control. Now, there were a few things like right in front of the hotel, there was a lot of work happening in front of on the road, or the sewage line and things like that were coming up. So everything was like a war zone. But things have settled down now. In fact, for the last 7-8 days, things are looking much better. Hotel
Is the problem for everyone? Is everyone able to hear Edwin?
No, I can't.
Okay. So the line looks like it's not.
Can you all hear?
We can hear each other.
Now we can hear.
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Okay, should I continue? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
The kind of hotels, and realize 3-star, 4-star properties have lot of 4-star, 3-star. These are the properties. These are the kind of properties that are very much in demand, and which we feel if we put in little money, we will be able to get to those standards. Now, what we are also doing is that we were looking for investors, partners, and we are already negotiating with some of the investors, partners who coming on board will change a lot of things positively for the company. We hope to give some news to you all later, earlier than later on this front. The negotiations are there with a few parties, including there are some opportunities in Estonia where we are in talks for investment. Yeah, Uma.
Okay.
Thanks, Edwin.
Yeah, thank you.
we'll open the forum of questions specifically to Edgar. Yeah. So can I start with the first question? Clifton?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I was hearing yesterday Lemon Tree Hotels Chairman and Managing Director Keswani, I mean, not recent, maybe 3-4 months prior to interview. And he was talking about, yes, COVID has hit everyone and it has really hit the tourism and hospitality industry in which probably was because people were really not moving out, and to induce them to move, or give them a longer period of time to stay in the hotels, like staycation, and so, which is a new concept that people have come up. They reduced the tariff rates. Already Lemon Tree is in the tariff rate of 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. They brought it down to, I think, 1,500 to 2,000. So are Mac Hotels, are you planning to do something like that to attract tourists? Edgar?
Yes, Edgar, Edwin, did you hear Uma?
Hello, can you hear?
Hello. The question is, the question is what Uma had put forward is that she had, yesterday she was going to the interview of Mr. Keshwani of Lemon Hotels, and then he has accepted the fact that pandemic has hit the tourism industry and specifically the hospitality industry a lot. But you have to move along, and they have been able to get guests by reduction in tariff rates from a particular to a reduced tariff rates. So what the question is Mac Hotels also working on similar lines of reduction in tariff in order to attract more? That's the question.
Yeah, see, these things, unfortunately, we are at a slightly disadvantaged position here, but there is very little that we can come down on the rates, because we don't sell at 4,000, 5,000, because you must understand that the labor cost more or less remains the same, electricity cost remains the same, all the other payments, your cost of raw material, your laundry cost, everything remains the same, whether it is for us or whether it is for Lemon Tree. But Lemon Tree, since they were selling at 4,000-5,000 rupees, they are in a better position to bring it down to maybe 1,500. But for us, we don't have much scope, but we have still done it. Now what we are looking at is that we are digital nomads. We are trying to attract the digital nomads, where they come and stay for a longer period. Because this is, as we think that this is the survival time. So they come and occupy, we have huge inventory, so they come and occupy the spaces. Maybe we hope that they would give us little bit of F&B revenue and things like that. So we have to rethink ourselves within the realm of our hotels or the reality. Because it becomes, of course, they appear to be in the same industry, but there is a huge difference when you sell the room for 5,000 rupees and when you sell the rooms for 1,500 to 1,800 rupees on a normal basis. So that, I hope, has answered your question.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah. Any questions from anybody?
May I ask?
This is Ahad. Sorry.
Yeah.
May I ask a question, please?
Please go ahead,
Yeah,
Frederick.
please.
Okay, Mr. Cotta, this is addressed to you.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I could not hear clearly what you were saying about the various activities that you are going into now. Something you said about chocolate and something about baking and things like that. That entire talk I didn't hear at all.
Okay.
So I'm sorry if you can just enlighten us. Maybe the other.
See, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Now can you, Mr. Frederick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Now I can. Yeah.
Yeah. See, what has happened, that topic is, see, we are the master franchises for Goa for the Chocolate Room. It's an Australian brand of a cafe, which is in India. It is headquartered at Ahmedabad. From Ahmedabad, we have brought it to Goa. So we have started one store because during the lockdown, the first thing that started was a little bit of food things. And also there was a lot of competition because a lot of home cooking started. I don't know if it happened in other cities, but in Goa, it was like home bakers, home cooking, everybody started these things. So there are also restrictions. So every sites, whatever we did, we had to change from time to time. So that chocolate room store, we have shifted from Panjim to brought it down to Miramar. And the bakery, which was in Kalangut, we shifted it to Miramar because of staff not being there, so that it could be under our eyes and under our control. So those were the corrective measures we had to take to have the better control, especially during the pandemic. Traveling up and down was a big concern.
No, I'm asking what.
You're muted. You're muted yourself. You're muted yourself. Yeah. You're asking?
What?
Can you repeat it?
What are the items that you sell from that chocolate store? I understand it's called Chocolate Room, but
yeah,
what do you stock and what do you sell from there?
Oh, that's a big list. We sell from coffee to tea to pastas to pizzas to paninos to wraps to salads to
it's a full-fledged bistro and cafe.
Bistro and cafe. You can a 2-year-old can come and enjoy, and 80-year-old also can have a sip of cup of coffee. So it's for everybody.
It's a full-fledged
concept. Has that concept picked up in Goa?
Yes, yes. In fact, a lot of cafes are coming in now.
Cafe culture is growing in Goa.
And in India generally, so a lot of the tourists, when they come, they like to go for a cafe, especially late night. The cafe culture is coming in.
What happened was that prior to pandemic, we used to keep our cafes open till 1, 2 in the morning. But post-pandemic, there were a lot of restrictions as far as timings are concerned. Initially, they were shut, of course. Then they started till up to 6 o'clock, and then sitting spaces were to keep the social distance and things like that. And then slowly they moved to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I think that was a common thing all over India. So, but slowly things are falling in place. What is happening? We are also very upbeat of this 1-2 months that operations have started. It is quite encouraging, the kind of business that we have been able to draw in spite of all the restrictions. See, our business is something that we cannot do work from home or kind of thing. In manufacturing also, irrespective, you can just manufacture. But our business depends on people traveling. And if people don't travel, our business cannot do anything about it. So these were trying times for the last few months, because unfortunately there were a lot of politics also in between. Suddenly, Maharashtra government said anybody traveling from Goa have to do the test and quarantine and all that stuff. I guess it was more because of, there we have non-BJP government, Goa has BJP government. So those kind of things also got affected the travel of the people. But slowly now things are happening. We are also encouraged to see a lot of film groups coming. We are getting bookings of film groups. Also a lot of conferences we are getting. They are of course short, 1 day, 2 days, but it has been quite encouraging. In fact, in Village Royal, consistently we have been getting inquiries and closing some of the deals for conferences, which is very encouraging, because that means companies are also moving out to have conferences and things like that.
Okay. Thank you, Edwin.
That
we have
okay?
a question for you both. Yeah, I think Frederick, you're okay with that?
No, there are a few questions I needed to ask still, but if others,
do you want to ask anything further?
Yes, but if others want to ask, please go ahead. I can ask later. There's no problem. But I need a couple of things to be clarified.
Okay.
No, Freddie.
Please
Yes.
go ahead then. Frederick, please go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was looking at your figures up to end September, and apparently there's been a net loss of 1.92 crores. Of 1.92 crores. This is as of end of September. We are now in February. Is it possible? Is it possible to give us a rough idea of what the figure is, what the picture is today, and what, in your opinion, would you close by end of March?
Yeah. See, basically, we have done in this last 1.5 to 2 months. We have done a turnover of around 1 crore. We are expecting to close the year at about 2 CR turnover. We may fall short, plus or minus, but I think we should be somewhere around there. And if we are somewhere there, then we also managed to get some moratoriums from the banks. Though we didn't get that 20% which the Prime Minister announced, because we were dealing with cooperative banks like Citizen Credit Cooperative Banks. That 20% we didn't get, but they were kind enough to give us a moratorium. So that was a good sign. So we are expecting to bring down that September loss by close to at least 50%, hopefully.
So you're expecting a loss of around 1 crore?
Yeah, possibly this year. And by next year, I think we should be able to wipe out, because we are seeing what we are projecting. Frederick, is see what happens is that there is this hunger for travel is growing by the day. Indians used to not travel as much as they do today. So besides Indians, the Britishers, the Russians. Now what has happened is that though it seems that the lockdown started on 22nd or 23rd of March, but for us, our business affected from January. The moment Wuhan thing started, the news started coming out, we used to get almost about 20, 30 cancellations every day. And then finally, before the lockdown happened, the government banned international flights into India. So normally people don't realize this chronology of events that took place last year. But this is how, for us, this January to March is the peak season, because Europe, Russia, it is the coldest part of the year for them, warmer places like Goa. So what we are seeing is that the people who couldn't travel from January last year, then this whole year, and the demand of the whatever November. So we are expecting a big rush surge for the coming season.
Also, the vaccination has been a huge positive. With the vaccination, confidence, basically travel industry is such that it is all a mind game. People have to feel comfortable to travel.
True.
What has been happening right now is that a lot of stags were traveling, a lot of men only were traveling. Now slowly the families are started to travel. So which is a positive side if you look at it, if you understand the traffic.
Okay. There are basically two things that I want a little bit of clarification from. One is you mentioned about moratoriums from the bank that would affect your cash flow.
Yes.
The second point you mentioned was about an interested investor party from Estonia.
Yeah.
If it,
Can't hear. You're stuck.
Repeat that again.
Can you repeat, please?
there were two things. One was a moratorium.
First we heard.
Okay. The other was you all are looking at a possible investor from Estonia.
Estonia and elsewhere, even local tie-ups.
My
So
second,
Frederick, can you hear us?
what will you be doing? What will you be doing with the investors' funds? Number one. And number two question is, how are you planning to proceed in the coming year in terms of marketing? Okay.
See, basically, this fund that we are looking at, Mr. Frederick, can you hear me? Can you hear?
Now I can.
Yeah. See, with the fund, what we are looking at is we have already in this lockdown period, we have worked on this. We have designed the full thing. Now, the theory that we spoke about the other hotel which Ms. Uma had mentioned, which was that?
I can't hear.
Lemon Tree. Lemon Tree.
Lemon Tree. The question that Uma had asked on Lemon Tree. Now, the same situation, we want to get it reversed and add to our advantage. As I have mentioned, if we have the property being able to sell at 4,000-5,000 rupees, what happens is that our basic cost remains the same. And when the basic cost remains the same, your profitability increases when you sell it at a higher rate.
Also, see, basically what we are planning to do is we have, for example, for Park Avenue, Resort Park Avenue, where we have about 50 odd rooms, we have already done the design, we have already taken the quotation. We require about 1.5 to 1.8 crores to put into the property to upgrade the property to the level that we are desiring to. Now, if we can do that, just that one property can give us a revenue of around 6 to 8 crores. Well, lower side you can say 5 to 6 crores. So that is the kind of the change that we are looking at. We are ready at the ground level. We are ready. We are ready with the design. We are ready. Our associate from Delhi also approved the plan that we have for Park Avenue, and this off season we want to use it to. It will be a total game changer. And we are very positive. The fund
say 3-star. At that price. What was the second question? Second question was.
Can I ask a
One was
question?
the Australian thing. Mr. Frederick, what was your second question?
What?
Hello. Hello. What was your second question?
Frederick?
Hello.
I think we lost him, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Can
In the
anybody hear
meantime,
Once he comes
Uma, if
back,
it's
we'll
okay.
take it up.
All right. If I may, if I can trade an observation, is that okay?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lancy.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. This is an observation. All right. Okay. This being the hospitality sector, and primarily it requires a lot of communication, and it starts off right from the reception in there. The reason why I'm saying that was on just 3 days ago. It was on Friday. I was traveling back on Saturday. On Friday, I was in that territory because I have a place out there at Kandoli, and I visited the Resort Park Avenue, which is based at Bago Road, Uma Wado, if I'm as per the address. Now I landed out there. Okay, first impressions count tremendously. I know because I come in from a huge background where we have communication, and I'm from Emirates Airline. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I walked down there is it just went below my expectations. The facade. Okay, there was a huge board, billboard said Oyo, Oyo. Okay, first and foremost is Oyo was sort of misleading. I was trying to locate on my GPS. I had to ask somebody directions. It was right ahead in front of me diagonally. The entrance, I have to say, the entrance was just, I was totally, depressed. The minute I looked at the entrance and I said, I'm sorry. It was only I walked into the threshold of the entrance and then I saw the property behind it. Yes, that was a different scenario altogether. First impressions count. It was, and I walked in there. That was number one. It didn't follow suit is the person who was sitting at the reception desk was looking at me like, who's this person from under the carpet? I mean, that's not done. Today, it's competitive, it's aggressive, it's a dog eats dog territory. Goa needs that. I've seen a whole lot of migrants and I've seen a whole lot of people who have come in there for staycations. The whole works in there. That's the time to capture. Like you said, you mentioned that 5 to 6 crores, you process in there. Undeniably, unquestionably, I can understand that because that's prime property. Yes, and I would love to see that sort of business. You will touch the business. It has to start from the reception. At the reception, the reason why I went in there was first, I wanted to check in because as an investor, I'd love to see the place. I'm in the territory. Number two, I also wanted to know that there was something like, okay, we've got a 3-day stay. So I wanted to just check in and figure it out, get the feel of the floor. But the person wasn't aware. Now, even if you're not aware, the manager who was there, I know the name, he's not aware, that's perfectly fine. But to feign ignorance, you can't do that. I'm an investor. I have got as much as 27 people, which is statistically proven. One person can influence 27 people around the globe, and I can influence 27 to come in and visit that hotel. But you're stopping me even between the 2.7 tracks by feigning, and I'm not. So fortunately for me, I had this on mine, which I had saved it in the notes. So I put it straight away and I gave the person to read that. He read the entire thing and then he softened. Seriously, in the industry in Emirates, I mean, he really softened it after he saw this. Did I have to show him proof of who I am, where I come in from? Okay, fine. After that, then he said, oh, I'm glad you showed me because I was not aware of this in here. And then he followed it after saying that you have to call another number if you want to avail that. I'm on your property. If I'm you, I would say, okay, hang on a minute. I'm glad you showed me here. We'll work this out. What's your number? I'll get back to you. but you deflect me and say, oh, you've got another number. So it's someone else's business, but you are on that prime property. You are in that territory. That's where it comes in service, right? Starts from the very beginning. In Emirates Airline, we started right from. We start off on the emotional quotient. The intelligence quotient goes away. It starts off an emotional bond. That's what works today. I strongly believe soft skills is required at this particular place. Lovely property, the facade is misleading. Once you get in there, the warmth comes in after you've crossed that reception desk. But that's where it starts. I thought I would have to give this, and I did speak to Clifton about it and traded this information with him. This is an observation. I'd love to see, because I'm an investor, but I would love to see everybody else out here in this forum also be a part of a success story and be positive. That's all I need to say. Over to you.
Yes.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for the feedback. We'll take it up. Of course, apologies for the inconvenience and the misunderstanding. Actually, what also happened, I think we did speak to the person you spoke to, and as we said that we are already in talks with some investors for the properties. There was initially he misunderstood. He thought that you were someone who had come to invest in the property, that we are looking the future, no? So there was, initially there was that miscommunication, but whatever it is, I don't want to give sort of excuses, but we will look into the thing. But as far as the facade and the whole property is concerned, we will try to send it to Clifton, what we are planning to do. It will completely, you will not even recognize the place once it is done. It is coming to that standard. Really coming up to a standard. That's what we are planning to do, which is very exciting. So that's where we are looking.
Yeah, I'm equally excited about it, because I'll tell you, the territory and the turf, that's the first place with the influx of migrants and people with a vengeance coming in out of the COVID, post-COVID feeling that they need to be liberated. Number one, great location. Number two, it's a hub. Number three, it's going to work out what you projected to 5 to 6, maybe even to 7 CR, you're going to get that. But it all starts at that one place. And I'm sure once the facade comes in there, it gives that colonial look. I'm not sure what is done there. The interior is magnificent. I mean, it's like Portuguese. It's got everything. All that families want in there, with the swimming pool, inviting, and even the little canteen or the food court that you have in there, it's great. But the outside look with Oyos, am I right? Please, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Oyo. Yeah. When you look at Oyo, you think it's Oyo, and it's not the resort that belongs to Mac Hotels with a huge name behind it. That's what I'm saying. It's a huge contrast.
That property was with Oyo during the pandemic. That deal was whatever. We came out of Oyo, and as we said, our priorities were to get the properties ready and start marketing. Those boats are there, which we need to remove, and we may need a crane to bring that, and that should be done. Actually, we should have done it. We will be doing it very shortly.
Yeah, but perhaps the entrance, maybe a canopy with something that you walk in there, because it's a small little place. If you look at it on a busy street, you see these big boats, and then you see a small little door. That door has to have that look that actually invites someone and says, hey, come in, guys, this is a wonderful place once you step into that property.
Yeah, but since you were in Goa, it would have been a pleasure if we could meet you, actually.
Yeah, in April, certainly, absolutely. I'd love to see that.
Please, next time when you come to Goa, please get in touch with us.
Thank you so much for the invite. Absolutely.
And we would like you to have a look at other properties as well.
Certainly, we'll do that.
The potential. Thank you
so
for
much.
the suggestions. Appreciate your suggestions.
Yeah. I
Hi,
have.
good morning. Hi, good morning. This is Alfredi. Oh, Uma, go ahead.
No, go, Alfred, you go ahead. No problem. I'll ask after you finish.
Okay, thank you, Uma. I was fortunate to stay in one of your resorts, and thanks to Clifton and to the management, 7th hour notice, they got me a spot on New Year's Day. So I'm very grateful. Wanted to express my appreciation openly for accommodating me last year. You remember, Edgar?
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. You have beautiful properties, no doubt about it. And as Lancy said, more decor, soft skills. And I noticed one of the things that I noticed is mostly Russian people out there, and they have taken over the properties. They dominate the place. Okay. And basically they come from a different tier. I think they dominate the local Goans, especially in the hotel. So that's something has to stop, because that intimidates or makes. My family was scared when night at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they were screaming, shouting, running up and down the stairs. So if you're looking for good clientele, okay, polished clientele, like people who can spend money, and that's where your margin is. Okay, we got to change that image. Number one. Number two, since we also got to look up for the US market. The US market now, okay, the Indians are like coming up and up in the US, and they're traveling back and forth, and the flights are just 14 hours. There are direct flights coming in. So I think there's a great opportunity, because the US people, the US whites, they know how to spend. When it comes to spending, if you get them quality, they will spend. They won't look at they just take out the credit card. So that's where your margins will be. So basically marketing, getting the right clientele, and generating your...
Is there a lot of interest in India and Goa from US?
It's rising. It's all coming up now, because many Indians, the Goan Association is flourishing, number one. You have a market there.
Yeah.
I was telling Clifton, market to the association. Canada, Vancouver has a big Goan association. Okay, New Jersey.
Yeah, most of the countries, I think, Goan association.
And now they will travel, because they want to bring their second, third generation, and they're cross-marrying. They're marrying whites. So weddings is a big thing. Why get married in the US, spend $150,000? Come to Goa. Why go to Bahamas? Why go to Hawaii? Open up Goa. So that's where I'm coming from. So marketing. And I have a friend of mine who has about 12 or 14 properties in the US. I'm going to introduce him to you for the marketing side.
That will be a very good thing. Thank you for that. We look forward for a marketing. That's an interesting. Development.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, Uma.
My second question: did you see there was a delay in the results publishing? What was the reason, and how is that something that we can do going forward?
Which result?
September 2020. There has been a delay in the results
submission.
And this is non-compliance, and we should rectify this by working on our results within the timelines. So we need to work that out also. Is there a reason for it, and what are we doing about it? Did we give a reason to?
The reason. See, as far as we are concerned, I don't think so there was a delay, but in case there were a lot of problems in Goa. We were having a lot of problems with the pandemic, things not moving forward. The staff were on leave. They were working from home. The CAs were not cooperating, not meeting clients. So a lot of things happened. But we still get back to you, Maji, on this.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Edgar, can I ask you a question? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Now I wanted to know, you are going to upgrade the properties to some standards, right?
Yeah.
When exactly is this coming to effect to be able to reflect on the tourist incoming? By what date do you expect the upgrades to be complete? Pardon?
We are hoping that the investment will come and can you hear? Can you hear?
Yeah,
We are
no, tell me, I
expecting the
can't.
investment to come and you can hear?
No, tell me.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
We are expecting to get the finance and work to finish before coming Diwali.
Okay.
Because that's where the season starts here in. So
Okay,
we want
one more.
to take the advantage of the monsoons, which is relatively a duller season here.
One more small question. Hello. You shifted the chocolate factory, chocolate room from Panjim to Miramar. Consequent upon shifting to Miramar.
Bakery.
No, and what about chocolate room?
Yeah.
Chocolate room you shifted, no? That master franchisee of Australia.
Chocolate room in Kalangut is there.
Acha, in Kalangut, not in Miramar.
Chocolate room is there in Kalangut property and chocolate is there. Kalangut property it is there and it is there in Miramar property also. Only the bakery where we manufacture all the cakes and all that we shifted to Miramar that unit.
How long are you running this franchisee of Australia chocolate room?
5 years.
Oh, 5 years. According to you, the business there has increased. I mean, the footfalls have increased. I mean, the popularity of the chocolate room has gone up.
Yeah.
If it's 5 years.
Yes. Yeah, chocolate room has been giving us good revenues. Now on 2 stores, we expect to make around at least 1 crore 20 lakhs turnover.
What is the amount? How much? How much?
In normal circumstances, but these are.
No, they're breaking.
On 2 stores, we can.
No, I didn't get you. I didn't get you, Edwin. Hello.
On 2 stores, we can generate a turnover of around 1 crore.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is an annual turnover, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have one more question, Edwin and Edgar. Since Mac Hotels got listed in September 2018, you finished 2 years in September 2020. You are eligible to move to the main board. Any plans around it, and what is it? Can you enlighten us on that?
Madam Umaji, we had great plans before the pandemic. We even had a vision to have 1,000 odd rooms to be operated by Mac Hotels. But this pandemic issue has disrupted all the plans. We'll have to now sit and reorganize ourselves, which we are doing it regularly as per the situation which is arising. Now the Europe is already Europe is already experiencing the second wave, so we don't know if it will hit India and things like that. So a lot of fluidity in the air. So we are just waiting things to settle down. Maybe vaccination, as I said, is a very good news. Once it spreads, things will be more stable, and we will be able to take decisions which would be more realistic.
I have one more question from the investor.
Yeah.
In March 2020, I understand we have unprecedented times in the last 8 to 9 months and business has got impacted. But March 2020, for the financial year ending March 2020, we reported a loss. Now that not loss, sorry, there is a complete reduction of profit, close to 90% reduction in the profit, net profit. What was the primary reason? Where was the money? Where did you lose money?
See, basically, there are two factors. If you are comparing the balance sheet of 2020 and 2019,
Yeah.
is that is it in comparison?
Yeah.
See, basically, what happened 2019, 18, 19. We are operating 3 properties. Out of the 3 properties, one property was with
You're not hearing you.
12 months.
We are breaking.
Hello.
Yeah, 2018 October. And the third property, Resort Village Royal, was taken over by Mac Hotels from January. So these 2 properties had the best months in the year, business months, which went to Mac Hotels. Now, 2019-20, 2 factors affected our balance sheet. Number one, we had the properties in the off-season as well, where the profits are not this. And majorly, from January, our business got affected very badly. So January, February, March is the main month. Actually, our target for 1920 was to touch around 15 CR.
Okay.
The whole projections went haywire because pandemic comes once in a century.
Yeah.
And you cannot.
So Edwin, you're breaking again. Hello. Edwin, can you hear me?
You can hear me?
Now,
yes.
slightly better now. Yeah, I understood the second part of it, that Jan to March, business suffered, and March, that was one of the first reasons. But prior to that, you said something, you broke, and I could not follow. What was the answer? So if somebody is following...
When you take the property in the good months, okay, the bad months were not there with Mac Hotels. So the performance of the bad months, in Goa, the business works on seasonal basis. We have off-season and season. Now, during the season, you make the maximum turnover as well as you make the maximum profit. Previous year, Village Royal took the best 3 months of Village Royal went to Mac Hotels. Best 6 months of Hotel Miramar went to Mac Hotels. The worst 6 months of Hotel Miramar went to the other company. And the 3 quarters went to the other company. So the cream Mac Hotels had. And to add to it, the pandemic started, means the effect of pandemic started for us from January.
I'm still not very clear.
Understood? Otherwise, we
can with you to understand it better. I still could not follow.
We'll take it offline, maybe.
Yeah. And there is one more question that has come up, and let's address that. What the question is, stock has not traded since October 2020. total 4 months of non-trading. When can shareholders see an active window?
Hopefully, the Mr. Alok should be able to answer this question better than us. Clifton,
Alok is, I think, market maker may have left the meeting, possibly because I think he has a marriage to attend.
okay.
But anyway, I think what an investor would be interested, because it is always futuristic, they would just a simple question: what is the outlook for the next year? That is something which investors would be interested in.
Outlook, as we said, Clifton is very optimistic. We are quite upbeat. 2021 has started pretty well for us, considering all the negativity that was there in 2020. Seems to have we have left it behind, and we have, as I said, without even charters, without proper full-fledged movement of even Indian tourists, we have done quite reasonably well, and we are looking forward for a good 2022 balance sheet, a strong 2022 balance sheet.
So sometime back, you said the financial year ending 21 March, we will see a loss of about 1 crore of rupees, right?
21, yeah.
Okay. And only 22 things can really turn around.
Yeah, because 21, 3 quarters was almost as good as zero, no?
Yeah.
Every
hotel has reported a loss, so I understand that.
For us, it's a washout here, actually. We are calling it a survival year. But 2022, March 2022, will have a very strong balance sheet.
Okay, that's something encouraging, and ultimately, India tourism is a very big industry in India, and hospitality. People want to, and we hear about a revenge travel. People talking about revenge travel. So probably that should help you.
Interestingly, we are in this business for almost 30 years now. We have seen the industry grow in Goa, and we have grown with the industry in Goa. So for us, it is our life.
Yeah.
The industry. So we know what the potential is for Goa, and we know how hungry people are to travel to Goa, even the Indians.
Yeah.
That is very, very interesting and encouraging.
Yeah. Yes, I absolutely agree with a couple of things. Like, India, we have youngster population, as one of the majority population are youngsters. And we have double incomes in almost all families, where husband, wife earning. So the holiday instincts are going to stay on forever. It's just that in the interim, we have to float around, and we need to improve upon what we can offer.
Another interesting statistics or rather fact that I can bring out is was locational advantage, in the sense we are like overnight drive from Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kerala, a lot of cities. Besides that, tier 2 cities, Pune, Kolhapur, and a lot of those cities, Belgaum, Dharwad, Hubli. These are all within driving distance. And post-pandemic, a lot of tourists are traveling by self-drive. They are not using public transport. With the good road infrastructure, highways, people are driving a lot, and that's a good sign for us.
And another important question I have is that today's digital age, there is a lot of investment by hotels, and they have taken advantage of this pandemic period to invest on digital keys, where there is less of human touch. There is no touch available for the client. So since you're looking at international community to come here, one of the things that they will look at is the sanitation facilities and how much you are digital. So if you are planning to do anything like that,
with the kind of improvement planning in the properties, all these factors will be factored in.
Uma, can I ask a question, please?
yeah, please go ahead, Alfred.
Given that we are in the hospitality industry and we are in the front of the people, one of the good ways of getting in front of the people is what is Mac Hotel plans, not this year, upcoming plan, to get involved in social causes like environmental. Goa and environmental is like, I don't know what's going on there on the environmental side. Also,
yeah, we have a lot now on ESG.
Yes.
Which is something what you're talking about.
Yeah, what is Mac Hotel doing to promote all these activities, and as a result, show that they're committed in giving to the community as well through social causes. So that's a good branding and a good visibility for Mac Hotel. Is there any plans on the anvil to do that?
As it is, we have already supported a company movie on water conservation, and which won the national award last year. This movie was supported by Mac Hotels.
Excellent.
Because water, they say the next World War will be on water. So
absolutely.
Just to bring.
Edwin, I have a suggestion for that, Edwin. If you are working on these things on social causes, I think you need to bring these with the photographs and other things in your website. You know, that adds value to the company as a whole. As a shareholder, when they look at this company, that, you know, they are spreading this awareness, and those kind of activities need to be published somewhere. Or at least you write to the shareholders that this is what we have done. It brings in a lot of marketing from a marketing point of view. It increases the goodwill for you, right? So probably suggestion from me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's Umadev will work on this.
Yeah, that's corporate citizenship, and that's what attracts the younger generation. You know, then people even overlook small offenses. Like there's some things are not right. It's okay. You know what? This company does this. We can forgive them because it goes for a bigger cause. Thank you.
And also it goes well, Alfred, from government point of view, you can exhibit or demonstrate to the local government that, you know, you've done so many things, and so you get into the good books of the government as well.
In fact, we have won the national. This movie has won the national award. We have screened this movie for almost all the schools in Goa, because we want to educate.
Around 18,000 students were shown this movie.
Which
to
movie?
Educate Amori. It is called Amori.
Name of the movie is Amori.
Okay. See, we don't, as investors, we don't know all this. So when you bring up all this, then we understand. Hey, you know, it's not just money today; it's also the value a company brings for the common good.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We are sorry to say, we are a little bit old-fashioned, as the Bible says. Left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. But being public limited, I think we need to change that mindset.
Absolutely. Today, it's all about communication and transparency to the public. And if you're talking about such good things, it is definitely going to add value.
Yeah.
And since you quote the Bible, I also want to tell you the Bible says, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar." So when you give something, because Caesar got to know that you're giving it to him. So there's no humility there. We got to take pride in the good work we do.
Yeah, in extension to what has been saying about the CSR, which is a huge ambitious thing that's all worldwide in there. Oprah Winfrey once said, it's not what you do for people, it's how you make them feel. The feeling is the one thing that runs huge and large within the hospitality one. And when that works, it's influential. So even when you step into the foyer and you see someone, an establishment that's devoted to a cause, a larger cause, maybe one person out of 10 may appreciate, the others might look away. But touching even that one person is 1% of all your people. It works in huge numbers eventually.
Yeah, yeah. There is something to learn from this.
Okay, any more questions?
I think they have answered, so you could propose a vote of thanks.
Okay, so